Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first joint venture between the Friends of the James Brown African American Room and the Friends of the Hispanic Research Institute Council, along with the Newark Public Library. My name is Linda McDonald Carter, and I'm one of the founding members of the Friends of the James Brown African American Room here at the Newark Public Library. On behalf of our director, Jocelyn Bowling Dixon, and the Board of Trustees, President Lauren Wells, we would like to thank you all for joining us this evening. I would like to acknowledge the traditional ancestral and unceded territory of the Lenape First Nations on which we are learning, laboring, and organizing today. We also recognize the devastation and the continued legacy of the transatlantic slave trade, which contributed to the present day systematic racism and oppression. The space at the library, the James Brown African American Room, was named in honor of the late James Library Brown, a librarian, poet, activist, and influencer who was instrumental in making sure that the library seek and maintain books and resources and present programs examining and celebrating the African American experience. Mr. Brown was especially committed to urging Newark youth, and in this instance, youth around the world, to pursue education and to understand the importance of the role of the library and academic growth. At this time, I want to take the opportunity to introduce Ernesto Diaz, who is the chair of the Friends of the Hispanic Research Institute Council, and after him is Ms. Anasa Mayat, who is the chair of the Friends of the James Brown African American Room. Ernesto?
Hi, everybody. I welcome all our guest speakers today in behalf of the Friends of the Hispanic Research and Information Center. We are very proud to have such a diverse group from so many parts of Latin America. So bienvenidos a todos los participantes que vinieron desde en vía virtual, desde América Latina, Colombia y otras partes a nuestro programa. And we love the diversity that we have in Latin America and our Blackness. And we have been talking with Linda and with Anasa about the importance of getting together and discuss the racism that we confront in our Latin American societies and the denial of sometimes our own Blackness. And it's very important for us to have this type of programs. And I am very grateful to Jocelyn Bowling Dixon, the director of the Newark Public Library, for allowing us to have this type of programs together with the JBAAR, which is a great organization of the library. So I am very proud to be here, and I'm looking forward to hear our guest and have a great time tonight and remembering our Black roots from the Western Hemisphere.
Thank you, Ernesto. Dr. Anasa Mayat, are you available to speak about our Black Lives Matter program wherever we exist in the Western Hemisphere? Dr. Mayat?
I am here. It's Ma'at. I am Anasa Ma'at. I am the founding member of the Friends of the James Brown African American Room. Come to think about it, it's about 5 years ago, 2016, February 25th, when we all came together and founded the Friends of the James Brown African American Room. Our mission at that time, and I'm going to take a brief minute to read you our mission, is to support the sustainability and development of the James Brown African American Room at the Newark Public Library, named in honor of the principal librarian whose insistence on inclusion resulted in the creation of a literary collection and programming focused on people of African descent. So I want to welcome all of you here from New Jersey in America and from abroad, and thank you for putting this program together, and to let you know that you can become a friend of the James Brown African American Room by visiting us by way of the Newark Public Library's website and filling out the form and letting us know that you want to be a friend. So thank you again, and I'm looking forward to this program.
Thank you very much. And now we'll have a few remarks from the director of the Newark Public Library, Ms. Jocelyn Dixon. She'll share a brief introduction about the Newark Public Library and send a message out to the young people around the Western Hemisphere.
Dr. Carter, thank you so much for that kind introduction. This is such an important event on so many levels. We are focusing on a rarely explored subject. We have a multinational group of young people that is participating, and tonight marks the fruitful collaboration of the Friends of the James Brown African American Room and the Friends of the Hispanic Research and Information Center. They have come together to shed light on descendants from across the Americas and the Caribbean. We are so grateful that Paulette, Dema, Valeria, Itance, and Bashir, I hope I didn't dice anybody's names up too bad, are willing to share our perspectives. Through hearing about each other's experiences, we become better, wiser, and more empathetic. This helps us become more committed to supporting one another's battles for justice and equality. Many thanks to the five of you and to all of the young participants sharing this evening with us. Now, our library may be nearly 135 years old, but we are always evolving and asking ourselves, how can we best serve our community? You know, during these COVID times, we remain a critical resource for our community and our doors are open. People come to our buildings and to our website to access learning, to research a paper, get information about testing and vaccinations, seek guidance in helping children with remote learning, just to name a few. And I'm so proud that we have remained a steady, trusted source in these uncertain times. One final note, and then I'll be quiet so we get the show going. I really want to thank our friends organizations, JBAAR especially, and the HRIC friends in particular. Through your programs, special events, and generous contributions in support of the library, we're better able to meet our mission. That includes advocating for Black, Indigenous people of color and supporting innovative programming that educates, elevates, and delights our community. Dr. Carter, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. First, I'm going to start with the purpose of the program titled Black Lives Matter Wherever We Exist, but this is concentrating on the African diaspora in the Western Hemisphere. The purpose of the program primarily is that the United Nations declared 2015 to 2024 as the decade of African descendant people. It is important to respect the cultural contributions of various Afro-descendant groups in the respective countries throughout the Western Hemisphere. This educational celebration is intended to bring more awareness about the diaspora's Blackness and unity. Many Afro-descendant communities lacking meaningful representation in government and mass media, therefore their presence, influential cultures are often overlooked and erased from the history books. This educational celebration honors African or Afro-descendant communities throughout the Western Hemisphere and raises consciousness about the importance of Black unity in the struggle against the white supremacist system. This event will highlight large historical cultural contributions of the Afro-descendants within the North America, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. And on that note, we're going to move to a video portion of the program that has clips from a composition of individuals and groups that represent different parts of the diaspora. So if we can have the video portion.
This is the Danza de los Diablos, or the Dance of the Devils. It's performed on South Mexico's Pacific coast, the region with the country's largest concentration of Afro-Mexicans.
No es de la África la danza.
These dances don't come from Africa, they are Mexican, but these instruments are African and we make them ourselves. Now the Black people have united with the local culture and mixed with the local people along this coast, and we multiplied, and there are now many Black people here.
There's a mystical energy that flows through the veins of this city. Its heart beating to the rhythm of a land far but not forgotten. In this magical place, the rolling tides of history have carved out a unique culture where the traditions of yesterday may be the key to unlocking its potential tomorrow. Salvador Bahia is more than a destination. It's a way of life. Paolo Rogerio is an entrepreneur and social activist who specializes in the inclusion and economic empowerment of the nearly 100 million African descendants here in Brazil.
In my city, particularly Salvador, is 84% Afro-descendants.
84%?
84%.
It's a vast majority.
Yeah, the vast majority. It's a culture that people come from all over the world, from Norway, from China, to see the Afro culture here.
The Afro culture is more prominent here than in any other part of Brazil, and in all walks of life. From capoeira to candomblé and even carnival, it all started in Salvador, and it vigorously maintains its ties to its African heritage.
But particularly the African component of the culture is really vibrant and in your face.
The walled city of Cartagena on Colombia's Caribbean coast, founded in the 16th century to become a key port of entry for African slaves. The same slaves who carved out this canal by hand, connecting the Caribbean to the Magdalena River. But in 1599, a small group of slaves escaped and established a secret community 50 kilometers away in what was a dense tropical rainforest. Today, descendants of the founders of San Basilio de Palenque, the very first free black town of the Americas, still venerate Bencos Viejo, the slave who led them to freedom.
I am from Palenque, which carries with it respect. Palenques are respected wherever they go, so I am proud to be a black man from Palenque.
San Basilio's 4,000 residents continue to live mainly from livestock and agriculture and preserve their ancestors' language, which is taught at school. Barbara Herrera, who grows peanuts, tells us in Palenquero that it was invented to fool the white man. Her recipe for peanut balls was handed down from her ancestors. We are also treated to a sample of Combile Sami's music. It combines rap and reggae with traditional African instruments and sung in Palenquero. Indeed, the connection here with Africa is still remarkably strong. The town has been named a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, not just because of its history, but because of the Palenqueros' determination to keep their identity and heritage alive, more than 400 years after their ancestors cut off their chains. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, San Basilio de Palenque, Colombia.
Hi, North New Jersey, las vidas negras también importan.
Hi, New Jersey, Black Lives Matter, porque las vidas negras importan.
Las vidas negras importan. Hi, New Jersey.
La vida negra importan.
I'm New Jersey. Black Lives Matter. Las vidas negras importan.
Porque también las vidas negras importan.
Black Lives Matter.
Hi, Newark, New Jersey. Las vidas negras importan.
Hola, Newark, New Jersey. Las vidas negras importan.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. We want justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. And being a black life, we got to you.
We are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Want to recognize the independence of a black nation. They thought it might become a slave empire and seek revenge. The French showed up on Haitian shores soon after independence and said, you owe us a debt for all of the assets that you stole from us when you became independent, all these economic assets, you owe us that debt and you have to pay it over the next 30 years. This crippling debt, Haiti did pay back over years, but it really hampered their development.
This history doesn't exonerate the dictators and corrupt politicians that have plagued Haiti's development since its independence, but it helps explain them. Suffocating embargoes and the independence debt, as well as the lack of any tradition or investment in governmental institutions, guaranteed Haiti's failure from the moment it was born, and a racist world made sure of it. That racism isn't just embedded into Haiti's history. It is in fact very alive today.
So first of all, that was very moving, and I hope it was just as moving for you guys in the audience as was for me, seeing these young people from around the world retaining and being so proud of their culture. It's just very touching. Well, on that note, we're going to move forward. First of all, I'm going to give you the questions because we have an international audience. I mean, not audience, but panel and audience too. Thought that we would pretty much spell out what the questions were in advance so that everyone would be able to answer them. Since we really won't have an opportunity to do a panel discussion, but each of the young people is going to give you, they're going to be answering several questions. The questions are, they're going to give your name, the organization that they represent, the work that they have been doing in their Black communities, and they will be explaining what it means to be a Black Afro in their particular country, and what does Black liberation mean to them individually, and what would be their message to the world. And finally, they'll provide their social media and website page. Okay, having said that, the first person that we're going to speak to is Paulette. Paulette is from Brazil, and it's going to be interpreted by Ravana, who is, I have to say, one of my former students. She's also a lawyer from Brazil, but she's a paralegal here in the United States. So, Paulette.
Olá. Olá.
Hi.
Hi.
So I believe you can start, Paulette. You can start with your name, the organization, who you work for in the Black community. And I know Rihanna is interpreting this, so I'm going slow. What does it mean to be Black or Afro in your country? And what does Black liberation mean to you? And what is your message to the world as an Afro-Black person from Brazil? And then give your information about your social media page if people want to contact you.
Sou Paulette Furacão.
My name is Paulette Furacão.
Sou militante do movimento LGBTQIA+, aqui do Brasil.
I'm a representative of the movement LGBTQ+ here in Brazil.
Também do movimento antirracista.
And the anti-racist movement.
E sou a primeira transexual no Brasil a atuar institucionalmente no enfrentamento ao tráfico de pessoas.
And I am the first trans woman to work against the traffic of humans in Brazil.
Sou conselheira de direitos humanos.
I work in the Human Rights Society.
Também sou a primeira transexual do meu estado a coordenar a coordenação LGBTQIA+.
And I am the first trans woman in my state to coordinate the LGBTQ ministry in Brazil.
Atuo na Comissão da Mulher.
I work in a Women Commission.
Da Assembleia Legislativa do meu estado.
On the State Assembly in Bahia, right?
Isso. E faço parte do mandato da primeira deputada negra do estado da Bahia, no século XXI.
And I'm part of the commission for the first Black woman to be a congressman in the state in the last century.
E para finalizar minha apresentação, eu moro na área nobre do município de Salvador, a capital da Bahia.
And to finalize my presentation, I live in a noble area of Salvador in Brazil, in the state of Bahia.
A qual eu considero o último quilombo de resistência da população negra.
And now that I consider the last Colombia, the resistance of Black people.
E porque a minha cidade é considerada a cidade mais negra fora da África.
And that's why my city is considered the city with most Black people without that it's not in Africa.
Tão linda e poética, com a sua cultura tão forte.
So beautiful and poetry with so strong culture,
mas tão desigual na concentração de renda para as pessoas brancas.
but really strong and not having equality of money, especially with white people.
Para que se tenha ideia, nesta cidade mais negra fora da África,
For you to have an idea, in this city, the most black city, and that it's not in Africa,
nunca, desde 1500, nunca houve prefeito negro.
Since the beginning of actually the foundation of the state, 15 years, we never have a black mayor in the city.
A Câmara de Vereadores é composta majoritariamente de brancos.
Our city council, it's a majority white people.
No estado, nunca tivemos governador também negro.
In the state, we never had a black man as the governor.
Na Câmara de Deputados da Bahia, são 63 cadeiras.
In our Congress, we have 63 places, 63 chairs.
E apenas composta de 2 negros.
And we have only 2 black people there.
Negro, e uma mulher negra e homem negro.
1 black man and a woman.
10 mulheres.
10 women.
E o restante de homens.
And the rest of all men.
É para que a gente compreenda o que é vendido lá fora sobre o Estado que foi apresentado agora no filme, mas que não condiz com a realidade do seu povo.
That's for you to understand that based on the video that you saw right now, the representation of the state, it's not actually the reality for the people.
Quando pensamos em Frederick Douglass,
when you think about Frederick Douglass or Angela Davis,
Nina Simone,
Nina Simons,
Elza Soares,
Leila
Gonzalez, Zumbi, Dandara, mulher heterossexual,
Dandara, a straight woman,
Dandara, transexual,
Dandara, a trans woman,
Malcolm X, e a nossa querida Marielle Franco.
And our deepest love, Marielle Franco.
Pensamos que fazemos parte da mesma família.
We think we are part of the same family.
Que tenta desesperadamente
deeply try
guarantee que possamos respirar.
That we can breathe.
O que aconteceu com George Floyd?
What happened with George Floyd?
Aconteceu também no nosso Novembro Negro.
Happened in Brazil in our Black November.
No Dia da Consciência Negra, homem também foi sufocado em grande supermercado até a morte.
The day of the Black Conscience, a man was killed in a supermarket.
O Brasil ainda insiste em nos negar direitos e políticas públicas.
The Brazil insists and denied us rights and public politics.
Quando pensamos, em tudo que é vendido lá fora, e aí eu também faço contraponto com os Estados Unidos.
When you think about everything that it's sold by our country, and I compare with the United States,
estamos todos e todas e todos no mesmo barco.
We are all in the same boat.
Ainda sofremos com a repressão policial, a repressão institucional policial.
We still suffer with the cops and institutions repression.
Sofremos sem direito à moradia, saúde, educação.
We suffer without the rights to a shelter, healthy, or education.
O que aconteceu no Capitólio dos Estados Unidos, se é assim que fala, o que aconteceu nos traz à tona o que acontece em todos esses países aqui representados.
What happened in the capital in the United States show us what happens in all the countries he represented today.
Expõe o racismo e como ele está presente nas nossas vidas.
Expose the racism and how they are present every day in our lives.
E aí eu faço uma pergunta.
And then I question you.
Como podemos garantir que pessoas como Marielle e tantas outras, George Floyd, permaneçam vivas e vivos?
How can we guarantee that people like Marielle Franco, like George Floyd, keep being alive?
Como podemos construir políticas efetivas para nossa população? Porque podemos mudar de país, mas os problemas são os mesmos.
How can we build affection political in our country? Because we can change, we can move our country, but all problems will be the same.
Então, a proposta seria falar de mim.
So the first proposal was talking about me.
Mas falar da minha história é falar de todas as histórias.
But speak about my history, it's to speak about all histories.
Quando eu penso nesse futuro para a nossa população,
when I think about the future for our population,
é que ela de fato se materialize e que
Pode continuar.
E que a gente possa construir uma base sólida, uma base internacional, para que a gente finalmente possa vencer esse câncer que é chamado de racismo.
I think that I want to build a solid base so we can combat this cancer that is the racism.
Devemos isso aos nossos ancestrais.
We owe this to our ancestors.
Eu devo isso a Chica Municongo, a primeira travesti documentada em 1590.
I owe this to qual é o nome?
Chica Municongo.
I owe this to Chica Municongo, the first trans woman with a document.
Eu devo isso a Marsha P. Johnson, a primeira travesti que fez essa revolução junto com Sylvia Rivera nos Estados Unidos.
I owe this to Martha Johnson, the first trans woman that had this revolution in the USA.
E é isso que eu acho que neste mês, que é tão simbólico para vocês e principalmente para todos e todas nós que estamos neste momento e vamos debater.
And that's why I think that's very important in this month, that it's so important to you. It's for all us that we have to debate.
É que eu acredito na transformação.
That I believe in transformation.
Quando Elza Soares, a maior cantora do Brasil,
when Elza Soares, the wonderful singer from Brazil,
expressa na sua canção,
express in her song,
a música O Meu Guri,
the song My Boy, Meu Guri,
nascido com cara de fome e que morre de fome,
that was born with the hungry face and die and hungry.
Ela traz a realidade dos negros e negras do mundo inteiro.
She brings the reality for all Black people in the whole world.
Se Angela Davis nos ajuda dizendo que quando uma mulher preta se movimenta,
if Angela Davis help us say, and when a woman, a Black woman, stand up,
movimenta toda a estrutura.
She moves the whole structures.
É o que nós estamos fazendo nesta noite.
That's what you're doing tonight.
Estamos movendo todas as estruturas.
We are moving all the structures.
E cabe a mim, cabe a vocês defender os seus países, juntos como uma grande família preta.
And it's my job and your job in your own country, do this as a big Black family.
Eu acredito nessa transformação. E a transformação, ela parte de nós.
I believe in this transformation, and this transformation has to come from us.
Vamos ser a geração que trará esperança para o mundo.
We're going to be the generation that's going to bring hope to the whole world.
Ocupando todos os espaços.
Being in all the spaces.
Nenhum passo atrás.
No step forward.
E para finalizar, vidas negras importa.
And to finalize, Black Lives Matter.
Thank you. Thank you
so
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paulette. That was very powerful. That's very powerful. I just want to remind people what the questions are and let them know that our next panelist is Dema Bernal, and she is from Mexico. So the questions, again, she'll be providing her name, the organization that she's related to and working with. And she'll talk about what kind of work she does in the Black community and what does it mean in her country to be a Black person or Afro person, and what does Black liberation mean to her and what her message is to the world. And she'll provide her social media information. Dema?
Hola.
Hello.
Bueno, muy buenas tardes y buenas noches. A todos, a todas y a todos.
Good afternoon and good evening to everyone.
Bueno, como ya habían dicho, mi nombre es Deima Bernal Juárez. Soy una mujer orgullosamente afromexicana.
My name, she introduced her name, and she's a woman that is very proud Mexican.
Tengo 25 años de edad. Bueno, yo soy de un municipio que se llama Villa de Tututepec, Oaxaca, México.
She just introduced her municipality.
Es un municipio pluricultural porque tenemos, bueno, cuentan con la etnia hermana mixteca, chatina y el pueblo afromexicano, de la cual soy orgullosamente parte.
It's a municipality that's very polycultural with different communities.
Pertenezco al colectivo Mujeres Afromexicanas en Movimiento, MUAFRO.
And I'm part of the movement of Black women and Mexican women.
Bueno, nosotros comenzamos desde el 2013 con una lucha aquí por el reconocimiento del pueblo afromexicano.
We started in 2013 this group with the fight to be recognized as an Afro-Mexican people.
Nosotros comenzamos desde nuestras trincheras, se le llama acá, bueno, desde nuestros pueblos, nuestras comunidades, en la creación de consejos afromexicanos en cada uno de nuestros pueblos en mi municipio.
We started creating in each municipality and in each population a group of council.
Los consejos eran con la finalidad de sensibilizar, concientizar y de igual manera buscar el reconocimiento constitucional en ese entonces, exigiendo políticas públicas para nuestro pueblo afrodescendiente, nuestro pueblo afromexicano.
The goal of the council was to find a representative and give conscience and fight to be recognized and have public politics.
Bueno, gracias a esos consejos se creó un consejo municipal que era el cual nos invitaban a otras organizaciones o a encuentros del pueblo afromexicano dentro de México.
Thank you to this council was created a municipal council, and through this we got invited to another cities and states in Mexico.
Ya después, en el 2015, nos invitaron a los que son los talleres del Simón de Beauvoir, el Instituto Simón de Beauvoir.
In 2015, we were invited to another group. ¿Cuál es el nombre de los grupos?
Simón de Beauvoir.
The institutions, I think it's Simone Beauvoir. I can hear very well.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Bueno, ahí nos hicieron talleres para tener una participación tanto de mujeres de guerreros y de Guerrero y Oaxaca. Nosotros en esos talleres nos dieron, bueno, se nos unió a nosotros las que somos mujeres de Oaxaca y de Guerrero para tener una participación.
Yeah, well, then we get united with Guerrero women to have a participation together.
Guerrero y Oaxaca son uno de los estados con mayor población afromexicana. Es por eso que nosotras en la...
Guerrero and Guatemala, there are states with the most presence of African-Mexican people.
Nosotras nos unimos como colectiva, es gracias a los talleres que nos dieron. El Instituto Simón de Beauvoir después se creó la colectiva MUAFRO.
And after we get together, we are able to create the group, the collective Afro Women.
La colectiva cuenta con mujeres de diferentes organizaciones que hemos estado luchando desde el reconocimiento y el seguimiento del pueblo afromexicano.
Yeah, this collective group counts with different women, and we are fighting to be recognized as an African-Mexican people.
Bueno, nosotros como colectiva tenemos una agenda de diferentes ejes.
We as a collective group, we have an agenda.
Bueno, nuestros ejes son desde el derecho a la identidad, derecho a la salud de las mujeres,
fight the right for identity, we fight for the right of the women healthy.
Derecho a la justicia y a la no violencia contra las mujeres.
The right to fight against the violence against women.
Derecho a la participación de las mujeres en espacios de toma de decisiones dentro y fuera del movimiento afromexicano.
The right for women to participate of the decisions inside and outside of the African-Mexican movement.
Derecho al desarrollo con identidad.
The fight of the identity, the right of the identity.
Derecho a la educación.
The right of education.
Nosotros somos mujeres negras de Guerrero y Oaxaca.
We are black women from Guerrero, Oaxaca.
Que unimos esfuerzo para lograr el reconocimiento pleno de nuestros derechos individuales y colectivos.
And we get together to fight for our rights as a group and as an individual.
Somos cuerpos marcadas por la violencia y la negación.
We are a body that is marked by violence.
Y la invisibilidad institucional.
From person and from institutions.
Somos ancestrías, somos historia viva que escribe día con día. Bueno, somos historia viva que escribimos día con día.
We are life stories.
Esa es mi colectiva.
Después, and after?
Después seguimos trabajando con el pueblo afromexicano encaminado con la lucha. Después en el 2017, bueno, en el 2017 y el 2018 seguimos trabajando, estuvimos como coordinadora de grupos étnicos ahí en mi municipio, como ya les había dicho, Villa de Tututepec.
Okay, in 2017 and 2018, we coordinated with different groups in my municipality.
Fuimos coordinadoras de grupos étnicos donde trabajamos con la etnia hermana mixteca, chatina y el pueblo afromexicano.
We are a group of collective organizations working with different indigenous groups, Afro groups, and mixed race groups.
Con nosotros, con el pueblo afromexicano, seguimos tanto del rescate de nuestras danzas, que ahorita en el video mostraron una de ellas.
As Afro-Mexicans, we are consistently fighting to keep our traditions, including dance, which you saw at the beginning of the video.
Contamos con la danza de los diablos, la danza de toro de petate y
count with the Dance of the Devils and another different form of dance.
Bueno, nosotros, después, en la actualidad, estamos trabajando como promotora de derechos de las mujeres afromexicanas.
Collectively, we're working to promote the rights of Afro-Mexican women.
En el primer centro coordinador del pueblo afromexicano a nivel país.
At the center, at the Afro-Mexican Center, the first in all of Mexico.
De igual manera, estamos trabajando con la Casa para el Desarrollo de las Mujeres Afromexicanas, que igual es la primera casa a nivel país.
We're also working with a group of Afro-Mexican women to help further and develop and progress this group of Afro-Mexican women.
Sí, y esperemos, aquí en México esperamos que no sea la primera, ni el primer centro coordinador, ni la primera casa. Queremos más.
We want more for the Afro-Mexican community, not just one center. We want something bigger. We're dreaming of bigger things.
Bueno, para mí ser afromexicano es tanto la falta de derechos colectivos.
For me, being Afro-Mexican, not only is it about being, not having the same rights as other people.
Discriminación constitucional y estar luchando día con día con los estereotipos.
Constitutional racism, structural racism, and fighting every day because we're stigmatized and face many stereotypes in Mexico as Afro-Mexican people.
Las etiquetas mal puestas que nos ponen como pueblo afromexicano.
The stigma that they put on us because we're Black Mexicans.
El ser afromexicano en mi país, el ser negro, significa estar luchando, seguir luchando.
To be Black in Mexico is to continue to struggle and to continue to fight every day.
Pero también el ser afromexicano en mi país es una riqueza cultural, es tener una riqueza cultural.
To be Afro-Mexican, to be a Black Mexican in Mexico is to have culture, to have traditions, to have flavor.
Una hermandad, un aprendizaje día con día y una lucha que sigue y sigue.
A fight every single day for us as Afro-Mexican people. Tienes que empezar a concluir.
Bueno, para mí mi mensaje para el mundo es respétame, que los vamos a respetar.
My message to the world is respect us as Afro-Mexicans, as Black people in the Western Hemisphere.
Todos en el mundo tenemos los mismos derechos.
Everyone in the world has the same rights.
Somos hermanos, no hay que ser los que discriminemos.
We're brothers, we are sisters, we cannot discriminate, we should not discriminate against each other.
Los afrodescendientes, los afromexicanos, los afrolatinoamericanos, los afroamericanos estamos luchando y alzando la voz.
Afro-Mexicans, Afro-Latinos, African Americans, we're all in the same boat together. We all are fighting.
Yo soy Dema Bernal Juárez, les repito, soy una mujer orgullosamente afromexicana, orgullosamente negra.
I am Dema Juárez. I am so proud to be Afro-Mexican. I am so proud to be a Black woman in Mexico, and thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much, Dema. I thought that it was really interesting that she said Black Mexican people have flavor. That's real important. Black Mexican people have flavor. And it just adds something that a lot of people didn't know, that part of the Underground Railroad in the United States included Mexico, in case people didn't know. I really just found it out, but thought that that was interesting in light of what Dema is saying. So we don't know, the connection is closer than we think. All right, our next panelist is Valerie, and Valerie comes in from Colombia. And again, she'll be giving the same information. She'll talk about who she is. She'll introduce herself, talk about the organization that she works with, the work that she or the organization she's connected with, what they do in the Black community specifically. What does it mean to be Black African or Black Afro in her country, Colombia? What does Black liberation mean in her country? And what her message to the world. And she'll provide whatever social media context that she would like to share with people. Valerie?
Hola a todos, buenas noches.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Mi nombre es Valeria Valentina James.
My name is Valerie Valentina James.
Soy estudiante de Ciencia Política y Relaciones Internacionales
I'm a student of Political Science and International Relations
de la Universidad Tecnológica de Bolívar.
at the University of Technology of Bolivar.
Actualmente estoy en 3 semilleros de investigación destinados a investigar agresiones por género,
Currently, I'm taking part of a research investigation
que investigan violencias por género y también el marco de la violencia del conflicto armado dentro de mi país.
that does research on the armed conflict that is currently happening in Colombia and has happened over the last few years.
Soy voluntaria de la Fundación Afro-Colombian Center desde 2018.
I'm a volunteer at the Afro-Colombian Center since 2018.
Usualmente me dedico a gestionar proyectos a favor de las mujeres y las comunidades afro en el corregimiento de San Basilio de Palenque y en Cartagena.
Currently, I work with different Black groups in Cartagena, Colombia, in particular in San Basilio de Palenque, which you saw at the end of the video. I work to conduct workshops.
Bueno, inicialmente me gustaría comentarles qué es Afro-Colombian Center y a qué nos dedicamos.
Initially, I want to start with what is the Afro-Colombian Center.
Afro-Colombian Center es una fundación que fue creada por una psicóloga llamada Yolanda Charles.
Afro-Colombian Center is a center that was founded by a psychologist named Yolanda Charles.
El objetivo de nuestra fundación es empoderar mediante el conocimiento.
¿Puedes repetirlo? ¿Conocimiento?
Ok, el objetivo de nuestra fundación es empoderar mediante el conocimiento.
One of the objectives of our organization is to empower
a comunidades social y económicamente tratadas como marginales.
To empower communities socioeconomically disadvantaged and marginalized.
Nosotros como fundación apoyamos a comunidades que pertenecen a etnias como la afro y la indígena.
Us as a foundation, we work with particular communities of indigenous and Afro-Colombians.
A grupos de mujeres, a la comunidad LGTBI más o queer.
Moreover, we work with groups of women and LGBT members.
Además de esto, con niños y personas que se encuentran en situación de pobreza o pobreza extrema.
And with children and people who find themselves in situations of dire poverty.
En Afro-Colombian Center buscamos, mediante un enfoque educativo,
In the Afro-Colombian Center, we focus on education.
Lograr que estas comunidades sobresalgan dentro de la sociedad.
In order for communities, indigenous and Afro communities, to be able to progress in society.
Además de esto, de crear dentro de estas personas
And to create within these people
situaciones o características de líderes
situations or help build characteristics of leaders
que los ayuden a guiar a la población de la que hacen parte.
so they can help guide the communities in which they serve.
Ok, una vez ya habiéndoles explicado qué es Afro-Colombian Center y a qué nos dedicamos,
So I just explained to you what the Afro-Colombian Center is and what we dedicate our time to.
les voy a compartir un poco de mi experiencia con el skateboarding.
I'm going to share with you a little bit of my experience as a Black woman who skateboards.
El skateboarding ha sido un medio que ha ayudado a las comunidades afro que pertenecen a una situación económica desfavorable.
Skateboarding has been a tool to help empower, and particularly young people, Afro-Colombians who find themselves in situations of need.
Gracias a que este deporte y todos los deportes extremos en la ciudad de Cartagena
Thank you to this sport in particular and to all the different recreational sports in the city of Cartagena.
han ayudado a que los niños y los jóvenes que lo practican no se sientan excluidos o discriminados.
Skateboarding and other recreational sports has been a tool, in particularly for young people, and particularly for boys and girls who have felt as though they're alone or have felt discriminated at one point in their life.
Actualmente, nuestra población de skaters está desde los 10 años hasta los 30 aproximadamente.
Currently, our family of skateboarders ranges from 10 to above.
Nosotros nos tratamos como un grupo y como una familia donde no existen discriminaciones.
We treat each other like a family and we do not discriminate against each other.
Estereotipos de género.
We fight against stereotypes.
O discriminación por la clase social.
And we also fight against discrimination because of class.
En último lugar, el skateboarding sirve de medio de refugio para abandonar malos vicios dentro de la juventud.
Skateboarding has been a tool, and particularly for young people, as a way to escape some of the temptations within their society to go in a negative or life-changing route.
Básicamente es como un refugio para nosotros, para olvidarnos de problemas familiares y sociales.
Skateboarding is like a refugee for us. It's like a sense of home for us in order to escape from our problems at home and our problems in the streets.
Bueno, ahora me gustaría comentarles del movimiento Black Lives Matter en Colombia.
I would like to comment lastly on what Black Lives Matter means in Colombia.
El movimiento Black Lives Matter se desarrolló a causa de la muerte de varios jóvenes afros en manos de las instituciones gubernamentales como la policía.
Black Lives Matter in Colombia developed or further developed because of instances of young Black people or Black people in general in Colombia being killed because of police brutality.
Los casos más conocidos fue la muerte de Anderson Arboleda y Jainer García.
Two of the most famous cases were of the following people she just mentioned.
Según la policía, estos fueron confundidos por criminales.
Because for the police, these two individuals were confused or were misinterpreted as criminals.
Además de ello, Anderson Arboleda murió en una riña en la que no participaba por golpes que fueron por un policía.
Anderson Arboleda se dijo, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo se dijo el nombre?
Anderson Arboleda.
Anderson Arboleda was a victim of police brutality and he died in police custody because of police misconduct in which they killed them.
Estas dos muertes causaron un gran revuelo, un gran movimiento dentro de la sociedad colombiana.
These two instances of Black deaths caused movements in Colombia.
Tan así que en Puerto Tejada, Cauca, en junio del año 2020,
in June 2020,
gran parte de la población de Puerto Tejada en Cauca salieron a pedir justicia por las muertes injustificadas de estos dos jóvenes.
In June 2020, in Puerto Tejada, movements of people came out in support of justice for these two individuals killed.
La violencia racial dentro de las comunidades, hacia las comunidades afro en Colombia,
violence against Black people in Colombia
no solamente se ve reflejado por medio de actos violentos o físicos.
is not just reflected in physical violence,
dado que los vemos reflejados por medio de chistes, comentarios,
we see it also reflected in some of the comments and some of the language that is used in their society,
que son tomadas como normales
which
por
is
parte de las personas.
normalized by other people.
Estos chistes o comentarios pueden venir desde nuestros hogares hasta desde instituciones como las escuelas.
These stereotypes, these stigmas that are imposed by other people can come from different places that include home or at school.
Uno de los ejemplos más claros
One of the biggest examples
es la situación de la comunidad de San Basilio de Palenque cuando llega a la ciudad de Cartagena.
is in the area of San Basilio de Palenque when people from Cartagena come.
No, al revés, cuando personas de San Basilio de Palenque llegan a la ciudad de Cartagena.
I'm sorry. When people from the area of San Basilio de Palenque come from their town and come into the city of Cartagena,
lo que sucede es que muchas personas de Cartagena tienden a tomar como normal burlarse de su acento.
Many people from Cartagena tend to make fun of people from San Basilio de Palenque because of their accents.
También por su color de piel, que suele ser más oscuro que el de las personas de aquí.
And because people from San Basilio de Palenque tend to be darker in skin complexion, they get made fun of by people in Cartagena.
Estos actos de discriminación han causado un impacto negativo en la población de San Basilio de Palenque.
These stereotypes have caused stigma in the area of San Basilio de Palenque.
Porque muchos de su comunidad no quieren aprender la lengua palenquera para no ser discriminados.
Many people choose not to learn their community language in San Basilio de Palenque because they don't want to feel discriminated against when they go outside of their town. Tienes que comenzar a terminar.
Ok. Además de esto, el movimiento Black Lives Matter.
Apart from this, the movement of Black Lives
busca eliminar cualquier tipo de violencia.
Seeks to eliminate whatever type of violence
sobre los líderes y lideresas
towards the leaders
de las comunidades afro e indígenas.
Towards the communities of Afro and indigenous people.
Solamente en 2019, de los 109 líderes muertos en Colombia,
in 2019, of the 109 leaders killed in Colombia,
más del 50% estaban en pro de la lucha por los derechos étnicos, culturales y raciales de las comunidades afros e indígenas.
More than 50% of the people killed in 2019, those leaders were in favor of fighting for equality for people of indigenous and African descent. Valerie, ya tienes que terminar.
Ok, mi mensaje para el mundo es
My message to the world.
Es que a pesar de que la lucha parezca imposible,
repítalo.
Mi mensaje para el mundo es que a pesar de que la lucha parezca imposible,
My message to the world, even though the fight seems hard and at times impossible,
con las pequeñas acciones que hacemos a diario,
with small actions that we do on a daily basis,
estamos logrando empoderar a personas
we are able to empower other people
que tienen historias similares a nosotros.
that have similar stories and backgrounds as us.
De esta manera podemos unirnos y lograremos nuestro objetivo.
We can unite and be able to accomplish our objectives and goals,
que es conseguir una comunidad donde prevalezca la equidad y no el racismo.
where a society or hemisphere in which equality prevails over racism.
Gracias.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was really powerful. Looking at these young people and how they have to look at the big picture. They can't worry about little things. They have to look at the big picture to stay alive, and they don't take it on their shoulders. And that's just amazing. So I just want to thank Valerie, because I had met her before, for coming and participating. So hopefully we'll stay in touch. Okay, the next person is, well, first of all, I'm not going to go through the questions again. I think we all know what the questions are, but I do want to introduce Etant. He's actually representing Haiti, and he's going to do the same thing. He's going to talk about, where he's from and what it's like to be, well, it's Haiti. And the other thing, Black liberation, because there are a lot of things happening in Haiti this week and have been happening for some time, and his message to the world and any social media contacts that he wants to provide. So Ete, you there, Etant?
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so excited. So I don't have to have a translator for you. So you can just answer the questions. So you know what they are. You're going to introduce yourself, talk about the organization that you're involved with. And so on you, I would say talk about being a Black Afro, but you're from Haiti. So that's kind of a given. So go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I think it's going to be hard to follow some very, very important and interesting speakers. Listening and learning from their experiences, very moving and very important stuff. I learned a lot, and I'm very happy to be part of this panel today. My name is Etan Dupin. I am a journalist and a filmmaker. I'm an independent. I'm from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, born and raised. My latest documentary called Madame Sarah. Madame Sarah is a film about a particular group of Haitian women that's literally what we call the backbone of our economy. It's an informal sector. What it's mean to be Haitian? Let me take it from there like this. As a Haitian man, and when you're born in Haiti, you automatically born against white supremacy, because where I'm born, where I'm from, Haiti is the only successful slave revolt in the history of the world, and that was founded after our own revolution. So that automatically, I think it's literally sum up what was waiting for us for the rest of our existence since we get our independence in 1804. Haiti is the place where, where freedom was born, and it's explained a lot what have been happening in Haiti, and for over 200 years now, with colonialism with a different form, from sanction imposing by imperialist countries, from invasion by countries like the US, who occupied Haiti for 29 years. And also from what France did to us, that paralyzed our country for more than 100 years after our independence. Today, I think Haiti is having a very, very difficult time. We're facing a crisis, multidimensional, but it's the whole crisis is rooted to Haiti's existence as a first Black republic that was created by a successful slave revolution. We cannot overlook the whole white supremacy is still well and powerful and alive, and the role they play directly in Haiti. And Haiti is a country. Haiti is a place where countries like the U.S., France, the whole UN Security Council, they have a lot of power. So a lot of things in Haiti have been very, very tough for us Haitian, for the country in general. One of the things that I think I want to use that opportunity to talk about is the African diaspora. We must not only celebrate Haiti, but we must defend Haiti to be able to defend ourselves anywhere else we are in the world. Because for many imperialist countries, for them, they want to use Haiti as a failed experience. Calling Haiti a failed state, calling Haiti all type of names is playing at the hand of these oppressions of white supremacists. Yes, there's a lot of problem in Haiti. Yes, there's a lot of corruption. Yes, there's a lot of problems, but at the same time, we have to go to the roots of all these problems. We know we can't have an independent government because there will be a coup happening that will be supported by certain countries. We know that we can't have a reparation money back from France because that will mean that we will have decide what to do with that with our own money. It's a lot happening. Like Linda mentioned in the introduction, for example, this couple of weeks alone, a lot of things is happening in Haiti, and I will use that opportunity to talk about it a little bit because this is part of the same context. We have a president, and right now who his mandate is literally legally expired, and that's the position of like the civil society groups, opposition party, anti-corruption, impunity groups. Like everyone like agrees, like yeah, your mandate is over, you need to leave. But he's being supported by the U.S., France, Canada. He's still holding on to power because this country is pumping him up, and there are reasons for that because we have since 2010 we know that we have an over $20 billion gold mine in the northern region of the countries, and all these countries have their eyes wide open and their companies waiting to benefit from all these company from all these mines. That what's happening today, that the backing of this president by the UN, the US, the European Union, and Canada explain what's been happening in Haiti in the last and more than more than 150 years. To be Haitian, we know what it is. We are fighters. We assume it. This is not it's not once you're Haitian. So you have to fight. You have to exist every single day against all the odds. It's not a choice that you have. So you either defend yourself or accept the status quo, which is the status quo won't love you back because your existence literally is against their what's the best word to say? It's against their their will, their plans, their whole narrative about like why they are superior than any other race. So yeah, that's, I think I would not go too long. I know we probably will have to take some question, and I would love to invite all of you to not only learn more about Haiti but also to visit one day. Yeah, you can follow me on social media. You can, if you type my name on Twitter, you will find my name. I have a couple of recent articles about the situation in Haiti, and I will be happy to answer more questions if there are more questions about Haiti. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would just add that Haiti has wonderful, beautiful beaches. So you need to go and support the country, because but for Haiti and Mexico, we probably would still be chattel slaves. Anyway, thank you. All right, our next panelist is Bashir Akeleli. Bashir, and I don't have to go through the questions because we've heard them. So if you would join us.
Yes, all right. All right. Okay, Hotep, everyone, Hotep. Let me first begin with giving thanks to the creator of the heavens and earth, a creator that is called by many ancient names in the world, such as Yahweh, God, Allah, Dios, and Olodumare. But as our Black nationalists freedom fighter told us, the great Malcolm X, Omowale El Haj Malik El Shabazz. We must put aside our religious differences that divides our African world to come together as one united African people. Therefore, I say that regardless of land, language, and culture, there is but one God. Secondly, I pay homage to all respected family and community ancestors by saying Ibaye, Ashe. The words Ibaye, Ashe are two Yoruba words, Nigerian, Yoruba, African words. Ibaye means blessings to the ancestors. Ashe means so be it. Now, because we as Black people are from many walks of life, religions, political ideologies on the globe, I greet you all with Pan-African greetings of Black power. All power to the people. Stop the shooting, stop the killing, stop the violence, peace in the streets, no justice, no peace. Uhuru, free the land. Viva la revolution. Aluta continua. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Assalamu alaikum. Shea alafia ni. Amanla. What's cracking? What's popping? What's good? Uncle Jessenev. Hotep. Hotep. Come on, we're an African people. We can say, we do call and response, but I know we're on a panel discussion, so I'm gonna just say Hotep. 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 It is a great honor to be a panelist on this program. I'm humbly grateful, thankful for that. All right. But we're talking about African people, in the diaspora, particularly in the New World. So I have to, one of the ancestors that I'm reflecting on is Dr. John Henrik Clarke. All right. The great African revolutionary and Africana and Puerto Rican studies professor. He said, Pan-Africanism or perish. Brother Clarke spent his adult life in the 20th century research, documenting, writing, and lecturing to show Black and brown people in the world the contributions African people made to the world's civilizations and religions. But equally important, he spent his scholarship advocating for the unity, freedom, and independence of Africa and African people. That means Black and brown people like you and me. We were kidnapped from Africa. Our minds and bodies experienced the most inhumane and horrific enslavement the world has ever seen. We have been scattered throughout the diaspora by many Europeans, such as the English, the Dutch, the French, the Portuguese, the Spaniards. The Afrocentric and the activist community in America calls this horrible enslavement of Black people by the African Kiswahili word, Damaha. Our bondage in the Western world was justified by white supremacy and an offspring systematic racism. White supremacy has created fictitious notions of Black and brown humanity to justify our oppression in America and in the European world. But despite white supremacy dictating to Europeans to force their language and cultural traditions upon Black and brown people for centuries to whitewash us with permanent exploitation, we are still here fighting for the unity of people of African descent against the system of racial oppression to make Black and brown lives matter in the world. No doubt, Black and brown liberation starts with the knowledge of self, but it equally begins with the unity of Black and brown people. So that's what we see here today. So we must revisit and continue the work of our great Pan-African nationalist forefathers such as H. Sylvester Williams from Trinidad, George Padmore from Trinidad, Dr. E.B. Du Bois from the United States, Kwame Nkrumah from Ghana, Africa. They all came together, right? And again, I got to mention my brother Malcolm X, El Haj Malik El Shabazz Omowale. They all came together from many different parts of the world to unite African people for the purpose of liberating Mother Africa from colonialism and oppression. These Pan-Africanists established 6 Pan-African conferences from 1900 to 1945. Their work is still relevant today, brothers and sisters. All right. Now, for me, Blackness, coming from America. Blackness in America is the constant struggle for unity, humanity, life, history, culture, self-determination, and self-determination, human rights, Black nationalism, and Pan-Africanism. I am a member of ASCAP, the Association for the Study of Classical African Civilizations. This organization was created in 1984 by Doctors John Henry Clark, Joseph Benyakinen, and Malana Karim. ASCAP's purpose is to reclaim, rescue, and restore African history and culture, particularly Axum, the cultures, the history of Axum, Kush, Nubia, Ethiopia, Kemet, Egypt. Now, Professor Carter asked the question, what does Black liberation mean to Black people in the United States? That's a tough question. I'm not sure what Black liberation means, all right? Because most of us are still fighting for Black liberation, brothers and sisters, all right? Most of us are still oppressed in the United States. Most of us are still experiencing police violence, community violence, all right? All forms of violence in this country, you know? So, you know, we're still in a long struggle to free ourselves, all right? But however, what it means to Bashir Akinyele, Black liberation means to be proud, to be Black, embrace African culture, and to be free, all right? So that's my take, brothers and sisters, all right? That's my perspective of what it means to be Black in America, all right? I didn't want to go too hard, but, you know, like Brother Malcolm says all the time, you know, I'm one of the victims, millions of victims of Americanism in the United States. And many of us, we don't see the American dream. All we have experienced is the American nightmare. And I know you know, we may have Black faces in high places, but as Dr. Clark said, always constantly teaches us, all right, from the ancestor realm, we must be careful of ceremonies over substance. Although we have Black faces in high places in the United States, to the masses of people, you know, that means absolutely nothing. We're still struggling for Black liberation. And many of our people in high places in the United States government, unfortunately, aren't even connected to the Black community. But that's another political discussion. But we're still fighting. The masses of us are still fighting for Black liberation, constantly fighting for Black liberation. All right. So that's my perspective, coming all the way from the United States of America. Again, brothers and sisters, it is such an honor and a privilege, honor and a pleasure to be on this panel. My brothers and sisters from Mexico, from Colombia, from Haiti, Sakwase to my brother from Haiti, you know, from all parts of the Americas. Again, I am in solidarity and struggle with you brothers and sisters. So continue to fight, stay strong, stay Black. Hotep.
I would just thank you, Bashir. I would just say you can put in the chat, or you can just give people quickly a way to contact you.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I mean, you can just hit me up. I'm, you know, Bashir Akinyele, Bashir Muhammad Akinyele. Okay. As, you know, you can hit me up on my social media pages like that. I'm also, I mean, you can also hit up our ASCAP page. We have an ASCAP Facebook page. If you type in ASCAP, or the Association for the Study of Classical African Civilizations, it'll come up. All right. So
we so appreciate the entire panel. It was one thing I didn't say when he came in and said he used the word imperialism, and a lot of people don't know what that term means. They hear it all the time. I just want to make sure that people understand imperialism is when a stronger country takes all the resources or steals all the resources from a weaker country that cannot compete with them on an equal footing. So I just want to make sure people were clear on that, since I commented after everyone else's panel. Sorry, Bashir, but it was really supposed to be before you. But I so appreciate you coming and serving on the panel. This international panel, and it's also the first and not the last joint venture between the Friends of the James Brown African American Room and also the and make sure I got the name right because I didn't do it properly the first time, is the Hispanic. Wait. Hold on, guys. I have the other name in my head. That's what messed me up. So New Jersey Hispanic Research and Information Center. I just want to make sure I got that correct. And having said that, I'm not going to comment anymore. I'm going to ask Ernesto and then Anasa to come back and do some quick closing remarks. And then I'll, thank some people afterwards who were responsible for this. So thank you again, Bashir. Take care. And Ernesto, do you want to come back so we can close out?
Hi, Linda and everybody else. I was very proud to hear the diversity that we have of Africanness from Colombia, Mexico, the history of Haiti that Etant gave to us, and the famous revolution that took place with Toussaint Louverture. So we are very happy to have you here, and it has been a great experience to hear. And sadly, the problem of racism that continues in many of our Latin American societies, including Colombia. Valerie, I am from Colombia, my father is from Cartagena, mi papá es de Cartagena, Colombia, entonces tenemos algo en común. I know about the racism that you talk about, yo sé sobre el racismo que tú hablaste y todas las situaciones que pasan en nuestro país y la violencia en contra de las personas de color. So I am very proud to have a Colombian representative and people from Mexico. So I love your presentation, Deima. It was outstanding. Thank you for being here. And the most important is to get together, brown and black, all of us, to fight for this, against this discrimination and to really support our cause of unity. And thanks to the library for doing all of this for us, to get us together and create this wonderful program. So I appreciate and thanks everybody. And Linda, by the way, you did a wonderful job. I really appreciate you. It is Friends of the Hispanic Research Information Center. Only to be for the record, Friends of the Hispanic Research and Information Center. And I want to thank Hector Perez, one of our board members, for all the wonderful work that he did with you, Linda, and us creating all the program. It is very challenging to find people from so many parts of the world. And now we know that he has a second job as a good translator of Spanish to English, because it is difficult to translate. And thank you everybody for their patience and the beautiful contribution. This was a lovely program. Thank you again.
Thank you, Anasa.
Okay, I want to thank all of you panelists. You were all marvelous tonight. I was very, very impressed and very glad to know that so many of you are working against this struggle, this evil that we all have to live with on a daily basis, and knowing that something that we're not the only ones here in America that's fighting racism, but that is being done collectively around the world. Paulette, I've been to Bahia. I know what it's like there, and your country is just marvelous. I've been to Mexico too, but I plan to visit all of your countries one of these days in the near future, the post-COVID era, and I hope to maybe see some of you in person again, and know that you're with us in this struggle makes me feel a whole lot better. Like maybe we're coming to the end of this thing, hopefully. So thank you all again, and maybe we'll do this again sometime. Thank you, Linda. You did a great job, and to Hector, thank you. So until next time.
So I'm going to thank you, Anasa. I so appreciate it. especially your vision to have and create the Friends of the James Brown African American Room. So had you not done that, we would not be having this joint venture, which means we would not have these people from all over the Western Hemisphere. So we never know where we're going to go. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank Rutgers Truth and Racial Healing for their support. I want to thank, again, the library, JBAAR, HRIC, IT from the library in particular, because they were so helpful, especially when you're dealing with different times and different.
Thank you, Diego.
Right. Thank you, Diego. Thank the audience members, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or in the immediate Zoom. So appreciate it. I want to thank
interpreters. I do want to thank the interpreters.
Oh, yeah.
Great job.
Right. And yeah, exactly. And I want to also thank the young people around the world for having the courage to stand up and fight. Who else do I want to thank? I really want to thank Hector, and this is from Hector, but I'm so proud to have him as a student, and I'm very emotional about this, but I'm gonna get through it. Thank you. He wanted to thank everybody for their support, in particular the social activists who are fighting to make the world a bit easier for future generations. The program is dedicated to all people around the world who feel as if their voices and stories are being left out and erased from the history. Also to all the descendants of Black women and men of the African diaspora. And we, the people of Newark, New Jersey and around the world, stand in solidarity and struggle for equality and human rights. All Black lives matter. Las vidas negras importan. I got it. He tried to teach me that earlier today. So I just want to thank everybody, and I think we made the time. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Good night.